Tell me, when you look at, you were a graduate and you have since picked other degrees.
Yeah.
And you are literally an expert in that field. You have all that it takes, intellectual as well as operational.
Right.
Compared to the current national intelligence security and the old special branch, what do we have? What do we have?
I see a difference from my experience of the people that I meet. Like I mentioned before, our trade craft in those days was to be what you call the gray man. And the gray man basically is a person who can sit in a room like this with three or four other people, and you wouldn't notice him.
Yes.
He's not a big mouth.
Yes.
He doesn't stand out.
Just to appreciate that, in the 70s, when I was going through high school myself, early 70s, I had a relative also was in the special branch, was called Ali.
Yeah.
He has since passed on. He was working as a waiter in one of the restaurants in Nairobi.
Yes.
That's basically what everybody knew him.
Yes.
But the reality of the matter is that the man was an intelligence man.
Right.
So the grey man, as you put it,
Yes.
you didn't know who was an intelligence officer, who was a special branch officer those days. You didn't have to know that person. The fact that he can hide, the camouflage can be there,
Yes.
was the biggest asset.
Absolutely, the perfect profile was to be the gray man.
Yes.
So but also to be able to have the confidence to sit with the fairly senior people.
Yes.
Because remember that those days we had to pick our intelligence directly from people like politicians and senior businessmen and stuff like that. And so we had been taught techniques about how to do it, about how to break the ice, how to introduce yourself, but also having done enough research in the background so that when you're asked questions, you don't get stuck. For example, if you said you've got a degree in political science from the University of Nairobi, and somebody asked you who taught you a particular unit.
Absolutely.
You need to be able to
know all that.
All of
well
that.
in advance.
So we picked up a lot of information
Yes.
and stuff like that.
Yes.
The difference between then and now is that now you can get in the intelligence service from anywhere.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I'll give you an example. When I was doing my master's degree in criminology, I had a very good friend of mine, and we studied together, we did tutorials together, we had drinks together, and he kept on telling me one day he would like to join
The intelligence service.
the intelligence service. But he didn't get anything from me. But eventually he did actually join the intelligence service. And he found out when he got there, because through some activities we've been doing, my name came up. And one day I met him in the street and he told me, "You mean you
never told me this."
You never told me this. And I said, "Yes, and you now know because you are in the system."
Yes.
But for us, we would never, even when you joined, I wouldn't have known.
Yes.
So that's the difference. And therefore, in terms of intelligence collection and other tradecraft, I feel that there's a gap. And I feel that's why part of the information is not getting to the consumer. The other thing is at that time, we had methods of collecting intelligence from the traditional methods, covert methods. But we just went and, if, for example, there was a pronouncement from the president about an issue that was sensitive, we would go and sit in a bar and listen, in a Pangani bar, and listen. Just listen and present that as raw data. You don't try to analyze.
You
just say
present it as raw data.
In the bar in which I was.
And people are going to analyze it up as they go.
It's up to them, yes. And that information went, in those days, it went up to the president directly, as far as I know. I believe that has changed.
when you look at this system right now, do you see our intelligence officers as just some fat cats basically who are earning better than everybody else in the country, and you know, like you really feed a cat very well, and it's not going to catch the
Yeah.
the rats and all those other rodents that are going to mess you because it's not hungry.
Yes.
If you have to buy the food for the cats from the supermarket,
Yeah.
it's not going to go around hunting snakes and rodents.
Right.
So basically, we have an intelligence system right now which is very prestigious in the sense that it recruits graduates, it recruits diploma holders, they have good life, they earn very well, but we have all these lapses in our own security.
Yes, I am not sure what I know is that somehow the information is not getting to the consumers, or if it's getting the consumers, there must be a reason why they are not actually applying it.
Acting in time.
In time, because in our time the modus operandi was that we collected information in advance about certain targets. For example, now the activities of Al-Shabaab in Northeastern Province would be a major target, and we'd collect information about it. And we're very proud about it because we always said we are not the CID. We don't go to a scene after someone has been killed. Our method was to try and preempt everything.
So it doesn't happen.
So it doesn't
It's
happen.
nipped in the bud, yeah.
So the way the information is getting shared might be a problem, and once it's been shared, there must be a reason why the consumers are actually not acting on it. And one of the possibilities is that, you know, when you collect intelligence, there is a rating of the credibility of that information. So if you come and tell me tomorrow there's going to be an attack at the Lavington Mall, and I pass it on to the consumers, and there's no attack, over time, they will try to, now I'll be discredited in a way that they will not take my information seriously. The other day you told us this and it didn't happen, and you told us this and it didn't happen. That was a different in our time, because the people we got information from were very, you got guys who had very good access.
The source, basically.
Yes, what you hear, this says if you sit in a bar, you'll hear people telling you about A1.
Yes.
Basically, it means that someone who has direct access, he's actually seen it, or he was sitting in that meeting. So that when you got that information, you are sure it was correct kind of information. These days, I think that quality has probably left the service, and people kind of collect information in a very ad hoc way, and you present it, and it turns out not to be credible information, and therefore over time people lose confidence in what you have to give. I think that's probably what it is, because I have spoken to a lot of people in Inform, in the National Police Service, and they say, no, but these guys will give us information, and it's all lies, so we cannot keep on running around. So finally, it's almost like they say, let it happen, then we will deal with it. And that's why, if you listen to the stories of Westgate and Dusit and all these attacks we've had,
That is the university.
you have always been told that there was information, but it wasn't been acted upon. So I think that link, that confidence needs to be rebuilt, and so that the people who are receiving the information are sure that it's happening.
That we are actually trying to sell ourselves as a country that is being faced by terrorism, because we're not dealing with these things in the manner it's supposed to be dealt with. We could have brought this to an end. In Saredo, which is outside Garissa, the information was there. They came and killed 4 young men. In Kamude, the information was there. They've slaughtered 3 teachers,
Yes.
3 upcountry teachers. So bad, so much that today all the upcountry teachers want to leave the place. Which is also another problem, because of course you can get teachers being killed in other parts of the country, 1 or 2 or 3, but the moment it happens in Northeastern Province, then it's a justification to move all the teachers away from there. All that the TSC Secretary General, who, as far as I'm concerned, is a profiteer in his own right, is to shout loud and say, we'll bring back the teachers. We're telling them, you can't do that. You can seek for more security. Yeah. You see, the moment you're doing that, they've won.
Yeah.
They've won.
The thing about...
And nobody talks about the follow-up. Nobody talks about getting these people and getting them to, following them on track.
Yes.
We kept on telling security machinery when I was the deputy speaker, put in Somali intelligence officers. There is no way, Dennis, you can go and mix up and live among the Somalis and get information on Al-Shabaab.
No, you can't.
This is what you call human capital, human intelligence.
Yes.
You have to send the people.